I'm Christine Cuthbertson and I am one of the regional advisors for the Monitor Farm Scotland programme and the project lead for the very exciting virtual fence project that we've been undertaking since last summer. We're going into our second year and one of the farmers taking part is David Andrew. I'm at Roundston Farm and today we're up at Blair Hill. I'm just going to ask him a few questions to see how he's been getting on. So David, what made you want to try virtual fencing here at Blair Hill?
I think we first became aware of the virtual fencing technology at a visit to a local farm here, and it was something that really interested us as we've had a similar hill and ran a kind of similar system, and we thought it was a way that, for sort of two reasons. Firstly, to make the most of the grazing. We're quite highly stocked up here, especially on the hill ground, and we thought it was an opportunity to use it and get the cattle to utilise the hill more, and also as for the GPS aspect of the system as well, to help locate cattle at calving time.
That's great. And how are you currently using the virtual fencing on your day-to-day system?
So right now the collars are on some in-calf cows and heifers that's been put to the hill. So at the moment they've been fenced in a bit of hill that normally the cattle wouldn't graze if they had the choice. So we've kind of pushed them out further to the back of the hill while they're in calve, and right now it's just sort of keeping them in a mob there before we sort of bring them a bit closer home to calving time at the end of the summer.
That's great. And how straightforward was the setup and training process?
So it's just a case of running the cattle through the crush to get the collars on physically, linking each individual collar to the cow's tag number, getting them onto the app, and then it's into a training field. So we train them in a field closer to home. Initially just setting the boundary of the virtual fence along the inside of a stock fence, just so they get used to the system, and then gradually sort of challenging them a bit more with the sounds and the shock or the pulse. And within the space of 2 or 3 days we've found that the cattle are well trained enough to be moved up onto the hill.
Great. So what have the biggest benefits been to your system and farm?
Firstly, the GPS aspect's been massive for us, so particularly because it's a big scalp of ground out there on the hill for checking the cattle. We're able to see straight away on the app where the cattle are for checking. Also the app gives you updates. You can see if the cattle are moving, if they're active, if there's any have split off, so the cattle are easier checked time wise. And also it's going to be an ongoing and a sort of longer term thing, but the improvement in the grazing out there, it's real sort of tough grazing, long grass and tussocks, so the hope is that the cattle are really with their feet and their mouths improving that ground out there. We've already seen a sort of increase in sheep going out to the ground where the cattle have been before, and hopefully that's something that's going to keep on improving as time goes by, that the cattle improve the ground. That's the hope anyway, but it could be a longer term thing with that.
Positive for production and for the environment as well, but has there been any challenges or surprises along the way?
It's probably quite surprising when you put the collars on how quickly they adapt to them. As I say, within 2 or 3 days there's very little activity on the fence line. They're quite easy to train. But a couple of wee issues, a couple of wee technical issues with collars that have been fixed, in one case of a collar coming off at a ring feeder, but it's a bit of a learning curve too, just getting the fitting right as well. So.
And has it helped save time and labour or costs, and if so, how?
Certainly helped save time in terms of locating cattle on the hill. You can, before you even head out, you know roughly where you're going to check all the cattle, and also prioritising time. At calving time you're able to see if a cow is split off from the herd, if her activity levels have dropped, you know that the likelihood is they'll split off from the herd to calve, so that's been a bit of a time saving, and also you can prioritise your time as where you're going to check first when you're going to the cattle.
And what do you think the future is for the system in your farm?
The future is, we'd like to have all the cattle collared so that we can better utilise the hill, have them in a bigger mob, and really try and, not quite mob grazing, but a sort of style of that out in the hill, and have them all moving around the hill. And with them all collared, we can, as I say, keep keep those cattle out there and calving those cattle out there, because it's a real benefit to us being able to calve cows out there, because it's a good, clean, healthy environment. And if we can keep a better eye on them with this system and save time checking them at calving time with this system, that's the hope going forward on this farm certainly, and improving the grazing as we go.
Amazing. We'll see how they go on this summer and for subsequent years. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
We've got 4 farms in the second year of the virtual fencing project and going into the final year of the Monitor Farm Scotland project. So if you want to keep in touch and find out how they've been getting on, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram and also our website monitorfarmscotland.co.uk.